Hey Hamish, as Varric can't stream today because he's otherwise preoccupied, I'm gonna do my own evening show. And I worked out how to actually get the donation goals to show up on stream as well, so you can see the progress bar. And it should stay regardless of what we're doing. I'll just give everyone a moment to filter in and for the turtle to wake up and do its job. Tuppy or not Tuppy? Why, is someone else streaming? Let a few more people filter in. We get going. So, how's everyone's day been? I got the reference. Don't worry, Filthy. Hey Cypher, how you doing? And Hamish, not too bad, thanks. Made some progress on roof on behalf of our roofer who took the day off. Oh, that's good. At least some progress was made. And the turtle pinged the Discord, Twitch, not One day I'll get the notifications right, I promise. Sorry for the amount of incorrect things. I don't have years of experience like someone else. I have it, the conspiracy reveals itself. Yeah, he's had to come down to the south to carry on doing his who was passion of roofing far away from April. Oh, that's what's happened. I heard making Tesco donuts today on stream. I wish. To be honest, some donuts would be really nice now, but no. No donuts here. And yeah, keeping Varrock away from Roof is probably a good idea. Alright, shall we have a look at the news then? And I will cover the smaller things, so... For a start, Aeronautica Imperialis is getting some stuff. So I'm guessing you spend point. To be honest, I don't know how you play Aeronautica, so this might be a little bit of a waste of time. Okay, so fighters are stealthy. World Eaters get +1 to their shooting in short range. Imperial Fists increase their structure. Night Lords for handling. Plot armor, I guess. Yeah, your roof would be fine. It is the dentin floor you got to worry about. Yeah. Alright, so the Iron Warriors get extra stuff, I guess? Ravenwing. Okay, does anyone actually care about Aeronautica? Should I carry on going through the article or should I just move on? Because this really doesn't mean anything to me. I'll care about Aeronautica when it's rebranded to Epic. Yes. I'll be one of the only times I'd ever buy some of the minis, I think. If I ever bought them, it would be to hang from my scene and make pew pew. Yeah, I think that's also a good reason to buy some. And yeah, I do think that red and black color scheme does look quite good. Oh yeah, no one really cares about the rules. I mean, okay, the Custody thing looks cool. Yeah, that's about it for that, I guess. Next up, one thing which I'm interested in, which is the Necromunda stuff. Yeah, I think they look quite cool, and I feel like most people agree with that opinion. It seems that the only real question is as to why Escher gangers have grav technology and other people don't. It's because a lot of people don't realize that grav technology is very common in the Imperium outside of military use, because the STC files are basically all grav-based vehicles was lost. All the STCs for grav-based civilian vehicles have survived for the most part. And in Necromunda we get to see plenty of examples like this with these mini jet bikes and the Green Goblin styled things of Ansar's ride on and stuff. Oh, and the trains as well that run through the spire. And all the lifters as well. Could I slap a white scar on these? Probably. I think it's a little too stubby for Space Marines. But it could be cool. Yeah, I think the orcs would be a better fit for this, as a lot of the orc and the scavenge technology of Necromunda does overlap. I know a lot of people are buying the orc cars and stuff and converting them into Necromunda vehicles, which I think is quite a cool idea. Also, they do basically die if they ever crash. I know that would sound obvious, but yeah, the way this is written here implies that they do hurt quite a bit when they crash, which is good. Of course, with a 9-inch move, if your gang leader is clipped at top speed, she's really going to feel it if she reconnects with the ground. Better hope that famous Escher initiative helps her cling on. Nice. Yeah, I currently play as Outcasts, the other new gang that came out recently, because I played a lot of the old classic Necromunda, and I really liked the Vansars and that when they were basically just, you know, the militia, so to speak. And I feel like with the drastic changes they've made to House Vansar, they're no longer really a gang I'm interested in. So when the Outcasts came out, I immediately jumped on them and I run them as House Grime Militia, which is basically how I used to run my old Vansars. Let's have a look at these models. So whilst I don't really care about the rules, I'm not going to play it. I do think the models are absolutely fantastic for an inquisitorial retinue. So like the Witch Hunter himself looks like he'd make for a great Inquisitor. And the guy here with the crossbow and the big guy with the axe could easily be converted into inquisitorial acolytes of some kind. And the one at the back could be an Inquisitor or another acolyte. It'd be really cool. And then just have the dogs to hang around. Or do it the old hammer way of using them to represent wounds. Thinking of perhaps doing Cawdor with a zealot mutant twist. That could be interesting. The first thing that comes to mind for me is something like Ogrins wearing the cowls and the capes of the Cawdors, which I think is quite a cool mental image to have. Yeah, you could use the rules of Cyber Mastiffs if you're playing something that has them as well. Yeah, that's a good shout as well. They are very good boys. Using 3 Hobbit trolls as a muscle. That's an interesting idea. We'll have a look at the store in a minute because I want to see how that would look. But before we get there, let's do the 40k news, and that's the chapter master. The whatever they're calling this, the Carl of the Votan has been released. So it's got a storm bolter and a power axe and is wearing power armor. Cool, really exciting and really fascinating, and definitely unique and interesting war geared to a faction which isn't part of the Imperium. Yeah, the axe is cool. As much as I hate to say this, because I'm not a fan of them, it would make for a great axe for the Space Wolves. And not that I care about the faction, I just think it's a cool model. Yeah, it's one of the better looking Votan models. It's probably my favourite Votan model. At the same time, it still doesn't feel like it belongs in 40k. He looks simultaneously far too modern, but then also far too fantasy at the same time. And I just really don't feel like it fits 40k, because 40k is not a modern aesthetic, modern sci-fi setting. It's a retro sci-fi fantasy set with its own very unique and stylized interpretation of both of those genres. And this looks far too much like any generic sci-fi setting from a video game at the moment, mushed into Age of Sigmar. Especially this guy in the green with the golden face mask. That just looks like an Arcanaut to me. All you've done is taken an Arcanaut, put a Power Fist and a Volkite in his hand. This artwork makes it look a bit better, but still at the same time, it doesn't look that great. Also, why is he depicted here with this sideways crest, and on his model he only has a front-facing one? Seems a bit weird. Maybe I should have asked the devs to put it on something up. Maybe I should have asked. Yeah, also, people have done their weird science stuff, and this guy stands at the same height as a Primaris Space Marine now because he's on the stupid rocks, which I find quite funny. I've given us a range of incredibly short people, then put them on rocks, so they're still physically as tall as the Space Marines. And DB, yeah, if I don't see them, they don't exist. Yeah, I think that's one of the fundamental differences between me and Barak. I don't mind for terrible dad jokes. And well, there you go then. If you're a dad, you can make the dad jokes. Yeah, so it was the Lord of the Rings trolls, wasn't it? Yeah, I can see how that would work. Don't know why it's defaulted to American pricing. Fix that. Yeah, I think they could make for some interesting core doorgangers, especially with how they depict Ogrens in Necromunda Hired Gun. I think that would line up quite well. Yeah, definitely. Oh, and they're really simple models as well, which is nice. Make it very easy to kit bash and convert. Yeah, well, if you do it, definitely post pictures in the Discord server. I'd love to see them. Whilst you're on the store, is there any, like, Horus Heresy questions or advice you guys want? As I may as well try and cover some things you might want to know or talk about. I found a rogue trader jet bike in my bits box. How can I make it work in Horus Heresy? Um, Good question. Wow, that is small. That is very small. And of course, someone's made a 3D print file of it. Uh, well, you can't use it as a regular jet bike because those things are too big. Could possibly use it as a regular bike if you found a squadron of them. If you get your hands on a few more, you could run them as regular bikes. I think that would be a good fit for them. And that pricing does feel bad, doesn't it? £2.50 for two entire jet bikes. How do you get to a Forge World store from here? Regular jet bike. Hell, regular bikes. Oh, why is it frozen? Oh, there we go. Oh, it's trying to take me to the Mechanicus. So, jet bikes cost 33 quid a model. It used to cost £2.50. Obviously, you're getting a bit of a larger model, but still. Wow. Yeah, for any of you guys interested in Mechanicus? Sorry, Mechanicum for Horus Heresy? It's all a big scam by a resin industry. Trust me, I read it on the internet and that means it has to be true. No, absolutely. No one would ever lie on the internet, would they? And no one would ever try to scam you. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the Mechanicum book coming out because I play Imperial Knights. And unlike someone, I'm actually going to try and play them in the new edition. And I'm really looking forward to it because I already have quite a large knight household of the regular knights. Still need to get my hands on one of the Cerastus knights. I'd love to get a knight castigator at some point. Yeah. I'm interested in the dark side of them, but only because I'm looking for a traitor force to ally with. Well, the way things are going, you'll have special rules for, or at least traitor warlord traits and stuff, for a traitor allegiance Mechanicum army at some point. It isn't Skoriev like the lead traitor model that they have a model of. He is an absolutely fantastic model as well. Horrific scorpion creature thing, which I think is quite cool to be honest. Evening, Zell. How are you doing? I had a game of 7th edition on Saturday, and as we the guys who showed up, we all wanted to kind of see what 7th edition was like compared to how we remember it being. And it was such a broken mess because we all brought stuff which was broken or caused issues in 7th edition. And the Mechanicum player I was playing, well, Mechanicus player I was playing against brought one of these fuckers. And holy shit, it was overpowered. It was so broken, man. It's really, really fucking brutal. Because this has a D weapon, which is a large blast weapon. Basically, you roll a dice, and on a 6, everything in that template dies. Even my Imperial Knight, because I brought my own Imperial Knight, and that, yeah, it removed my Imperial Knight in a single shot with one of its weapons. The other weapon blew up my Imperial Guard tank. It was horrific. And not too bad, thanks. Hopefully all well with yourself. Yeah, I'm doing good today. Been busy with work and yeah, enjoying the cooler temperatures as it finally rained here, and it's gonna stay cooler for the next few days. And when I say cooler, it's still gonna be warm, but it's not gonna be 30 degrees warm, which would be really welcome. It is a beautiful night though. Is that a new helmet design? Oh no, it's the preceptor. Yeah, the paint doesn't dry as soon as you put it on a palette anymore, so heading in the right direction, absolutely. It's been quite difficult to paint. I quite like this metallic green colour scheme we've got going on these nights. Yeah, I haven't actually had a chance to look at the decal sheet, so sorry if it's not the most interesting thing, but whilst we're here, I want to have a quick look at it. There you get some House Malanax, some House Coldchild, House Crest. Uh, nice decal sheets. Perhaps one day might get that Atropos or the bigger variant for an Imperial Guard army. Yeah, there are some beautiful. Why is it keep? And hey, Connor. Yeah, there are some incredibly big knights. Although, if you're going for Imperial Guard, you probably want to avoid the Mechanicum knights, because obviously they're associated with the Mechanicus. So they're less likely to be working with the Imperial Guard and more likely to be working with Scutario or Adeptus Mechanicus stuff in 40k. It doesn't limit you too much, as you can still use the Acastus Knights, which are similar in size to a Warhound, and absolutely ridiculous. I just want plastic Thanatar and Phalanx. Yeah, I think the Phalanx would be a pretty good candidate for plastic models. As they're no, they're fast attack, aren't they? Not troops. Yeah, it will be interesting to see what of the Mechanicum range does turn to plastic, if any of it does. Ooh. Oh, right back. Thanks for a donation, Hollow. It means a lot. And thanks for testing out the progress bar. I'm glad that's also working. Yeah, thank you so much for that. And yeah, the Acastus Knights, they're really cool. Well, I think it's probably just because it's the first one that came out, really, but I absolutely adore the Fahiron. It's just such a monster and such a huge, chunky boy. And look at it, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's just got four Titan killing glazers and a giant missile rack on the back. It's just really cool. Yeah, I'm really confused what direction we're going in with Mechanicum as a range, if they are going to do any plastics and what plastics they will do. Um, 'Cause, yeah, it's what units do you really put as a troop? So what they like to do, and the direction and language we're going for, is trying to make the generic stuff everyone can take plastic, except for HQ choices. So what is there anything you can take in the Mechanicum that everyone can take? So there are some automata which the legions can take, like the Castellax. Oh, and Thanatar I think you can take. So maybe those would be good candidates for plastics, because the Space Marines can have them. And I just realised how fitting this music is for what we're talking about here. Yeah, but Thanatar, because yeah, you got the two versions, don't you? Have the artillery and the tank destroyer version. Are you buying another knight? I wish. And now we're just going through the range at the moment, Clive, to see what stuff is going to be available in the new Mechanicum book. Look, once I get to a point where I can start doing giveaways of the size of Imperial Knights, I absolutely will. But for now, no gifting Imperial Knights. So the Iron Warriors have a special Domitar automata. But if you take the Special Legion one, then there's a Special Legion console that allows you to take automata, which would be nice to have, especially now that you will be able to access the rules for the automata. And hey Hamish, what have you missed? Not much really, we're just looking at the Mechanicum range to see what stuff you can play with the book when it comes out. No, for what is a good Knight Horus Heresy army? To be honest, I'm not sure just yet because I haven't had a chance to do any playing with the new rules. I think there'll be plenty of people to play against this weekend once the rules drop, and I'll probably be, well, on Saturday, going straight into it. I think it is a Praven console. And yeah, the Imperial Knights last edition were around, well, for the Questoris Knights, which are the plastic ones, they were around 400 points per model, and the Armigers themselves are around 100. I can't remember exactly, as I've only seen playtest rules and other people's reviews of it who've been given a sample early. Yeah, one of the cool things about the Horus Heresy is you can mix and match your weapons on the Imperial Knight. You're not locked into the certain roles anymore. So you don't have to run it as an Errant or a Paladin or a Crusader or a Gallant or a Preceptor. You can just use whatever weapons you want on it, which I think is a really cool way of doing it. Although, as a traditional Imperial Knight player who's been playing them since the beginning pretty much, I am going to miss having the locked loadouts. Imperial Knights will be very fast, very agile, very good in close combat, and carry devastating guns. and I don't think I'll ever buy a Legion super heavy because I will just use an Imperial Knight. Because I feel like it will just do a better job. And one of the projects coming up soon, once I've had a chance to read the rules, will be to make a free blade to go with my Imperial, not my Imperial Guard, my Emperor's Children, and I'll definitely be streaming the progress of building that and making it up. I really want a centerpiece for my Dark Angels, and I'm thinking the Knight might look good for Dreadnoughts. Can I use them as an allied detachment if I wanted? Yes, you can run a singular Imperial Knight as a free blade. So just a knight on its own as part of your army, as it just follows the regular rules for the Lords of War. And or you can run them as an allied detachment, which is just 2 Armigers and a Imperial Knight, scaling up to 4 Imperial Knights and 8 Armigers. I want to know if we are going to get more crossover between what's for 40k Mechanicum and 30k. At the moment, it will just be your Tech Priests. The Skitarii Legions and most of the Adeptus Mechanicus units do not have rules in the Horus Heresy, which I'm really surprised about personally. I thought this would have been a perfect opportunity for them to update this and change it up and add the Skitarii and Mechanicus in, but they haven't. So the range for the Mechanicum is what's on here. If you can't see it on here, then it's not part of it. With a note with these, if I'm just going to click on these for some better clarification. There are 2 Skitarii units in the Horus Heresy, but they are tied to the Titan Legions and they have Secutarii, so they have the special war gear. It's not the typical Rangers and Vanguard that you would have got in the Imperium magazines. It does suck, and I'm a bit confused personally. So the Skitarii were a very prominent part of it. In fact, if I remember correctly, in the book Mechanicum, one of the main characters is Skitarii. So don't know why. I would be surprised if we don't get a Legacies of the Age of Darkness Mechanicum. That adds rules in, because there's a lot of stuff we didn't have rules for in the Horus Heresy previously, which were added into the Horus Heresy by the Legacies of the Age of Darkness PDF for the Space Marines. So if they don't take that as an opportunity to add in the Skitarii there, I'll be genuinely shocked. And with the Legacies of the Age of Darkness, they are rules which you are allowed to use in everything outside of competitive events, basically. So as long as they get official rules from Games Workshop, then you're going to be fine. It might not just be in the main book. Having said that, you could potentially use them as thralls. So these are cybernetically enhanced humans that turned into brain-dead servitors that carry rare and powerful technology. If that sounds familiar, that's because that's the description of Skitarii. The only difference is Skitarii are as far gone in the forms of being turned into robots as possible. No, they do look quite cool. And these are not that much better than Guardsmen stat-wise, so I think running your Skitarii as tech thralls wouldn't be a terrible idea for now. Brain dead thralls, so like Valor Extremes. Oof. Yeah, there are some lovely people in Valor Extremes. I mean, almost all of you are here, but there are other people who are lovely as well, so I wouldn't call you all brain dead. You're smart enough to be here, so you can't be that brain dead. And I absolutely love these boys. Especially this one here. It's just such like a cool thing. It's basically just I can't remember the exact law, but how I read them is basically just tech priests with a craving for violence. Does it say what it was? Yeah, they are just mechanicum. They are just tech priests who have got a craving for violence, so have augmented themselves to carry huge fuck off weapons. It's great. And they do look fantastic. At the end of a Varak stream, brain.exe has encountered a critical error. Yeah, sometimes it does feel like that for me when I try to moderate his streams. Is some of the shit people try and say does surprise me. Yeah, so for me, with the Horus Heresy, one of my favourite things to do is to mix and match and make Imperial soup stuff. In the previous edition, I would always run Astartes and Imperial Militia together, or Imperial Militia and Imperial Knights, or something like that. I like the idea of having a Crusade force which is mixed. Born with a conversion beamer is cool. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, resin really isn't that scary. The biggest thing that intimidates me the most is the £50 50 price tag. And the fact I'd still have to pay for shipping. That's intimidating to me. Working with resin's lovely, as I showed yesterday on stream when I was building the Contemptor. It's really not that bad. And it's quite pleasant, and in some cases I do prefer it. Heard with resin it's harder on your lungs, so you need to mask up. Yeah. Yeah, if you're doing a lot of standing or a lot of dremeling or anything like that that can put powder into the air of any kind, you should wear a mask. That does include working with plastic, but the resin is a little bit more dangerous for you. And to be honest, resin is fine, metal is a pain in the fucking ass. Yes and no. Almost all of my favourite models are still in metal, or just didn't make it into the fine cast era or get turned into plastic minis, so. I mean, I have an entire regiment of Vostroyans, which are all original metal models. In my country, it's too expensive. Yeah, Forge World stuff is always expensive. Honestly, the best, well, the best value for money model at the moment, in terms of resin to price, is probably going to be one of the Cerastus Knights, one of the bigger Imperial Knights. Well, like the Acastus. Oh jeez, I remember when that thing was 165 quid. The same with all of the Cerastus Knights. And your kind of luck with the Emperor's Children Forge World stuff is impressive. Well, it's not only that. I've bought a lot of Forge World stuff over the years and worked with a lot of Forge World resin stuff over the years for people, and I'm still yet to ever have to send any Forge World stuff back. The only time I've ever run into any issue with a Forge World product was with the fine cast legs provided with the Tomb Sentinel for the Necrons. It's the only model I've ever had any issues with, and that was just the that was the issue with the fine cast, not the Forge World resin. Worst part about resin is I was building the Alpha Legion Praetor and broke part of the shoulder pauldron. Oof. Thankfully, I didn't break mine. Oh, that's a point. I did carry on doing a bit more work on the Contemptor, not too much, but let's quickly hop over there a second to the hobby desk so I can show you that progress. Look at me with the fancy transitions. Oh, yeah. I can't really see my screen now to see if you're seeing it. Yesterday I fucked up and accidentally took a chunk out of the top of the Contemptor's shoulder. Hopefully it will focus soon. There we go. And I filled it with a milliput and sanded it down smooth, and I've had no issues with it. And on the other shoulder, it was a bit uneven from again where I messed up, so just filled in with some milliput and sanded it down. It's nice and smooth. You wouldn't notice I've done any work to it once it's painted. And also something slightly different. I've been working on a Imperial Fist Castellan for my partner's Imperial Fist army. I'm using the Imperial Fist Deathwatch veteran from Kill Team Artemis as the base model. I think he's turned out really well. I did a bit of mesh merging, so he has the Executioner's company symbol on his shoulder as well. Not sure how well that's showing, but hey. Yeah, what have you guys been working on, Ben, recently? Would you recommend the Phoenix Terminators for the Emperor's Children, considering them as one of the next units to add to the army? Yes, I would definitely recommend them. My only words of caution with them is don't rely on them to be killing other Terminators, as their weapons are only AP free, meaning that Terminators still get their armor save against them. And they're out of stock anyway. But yeah, I'd highly recommend getting some and using them. They are incredible. And whilst having just said, don't necessarily rely on them to kill people with Terminator armor, you can use them quite well against Terminators at a push, as their weapons are Murderous Strike and Rending. Well, sorry, Murderous Strike and Breaching on a wound roll of a 6, meaning that they are instant death, so they remove both wounds, and they also ignore. They become AP2 on a roll of a 6 as well. So if you roll a 6 to wound, the person you're fighting dies unless they have Feel No Pain. Oh no, sorry, they don't. Unless they have Eternal Warrior or just Eternal Warrior, basically. So if you roll a 6 of these, your opponent dies unless they are a Dreadnought or a Primarch, pretty much, with the exception of Sigismund. I think Sigismund's the only one of the Eternal Warrior special rule, which means he won't be instantly killed by one of these guys. And these guys strike fast as well. On the charge, they are initiative 6 or 7. Building Mark 6, and I'm hoping to do a couple more test paints tonight. Nice. I can't remember what Legion you were going for. Oh, did you say in chat earlier? Oh, Dark Angels. Yeah, you can have a lot of fun with Dark Angels. I'm looking forward to seeing what you come up with. Got the second plastic Leviathan built yesterday, apart from the arms, and waiting on a range weapons kit for this one. Generally procrastinating with smaller minis to avoid Titan-sized resin chunks. Yeah, resin chunks are a bit intimidating, aren't they? Yeah. I really need to buy a saw of some kind to build some of the larger resin products and, converting some of my 3D printed stuff as well. Maybe I should add that to the next goal, hobby equipment. I'm currently trying to put together a Rogue Trader jet bike, and Marine isn't cooperative. Yeah, I can't imagine it would be too cooperative considering how poor quality old minis are. And the it's a metal jet bike, isn't it? Unit painted up. By the time we're back in stock, the addiction is real. I know, right? Especially with just how great of an addition the Horus Heresy is at the moment as well. It's just really reinvigorated me and got me passionate about the hobby again. It's like, to be completely honest with you guys, if it wasn't for the Horus Heresy, I would not be streaming this right now, and I wouldn't be doing anything Warhammer related, and I would have gone the same way as Big Red 40k and moved over to Battletech full time, which I basically did for a little while. But yeah, I can't quite pump up the lore videos like Bear can, and I feel like that's a bit of an oversaturated market at this point. And you're going to post a pic on Discord. I see what you did there, that's clever. Good way to advertise it, I like that. Oh, that's something we can do. Oh, we could do some stream models, couldn't we? We could have a look at people's minis. That's a novel idea that no one ever does. Assuming you're all okay with me showing off your minis and stuff from a Discord server. if we sacrifice enough squats, Berebus might return to 40k. I feel like that ship has sailed at this point. I don't think Bear's going to be coming back to 40k. And to be honest, I don't blame him. I mean, I'm not a 40k person anyway. I'm just kind of lucky to have an interest in the Horus Heresy because I like politics and civil wars. I find that kind of stuff really cool. So the Heresy has been a great refuge for me. And I thought stream models was only on a leap year. Yeah, for certain people, yeah. Certain people don't like showing off or catering for their communities, so it's just the way it is. I was bored by a group of like 60 amazing 40k people in my area, so people make it still fun and not so much a game. Yeah, that's fair. A great community makes or breaks a war game. That's why 40k has kind of died off in my local area, because no one's really interested in it anymore. All of the people who I normally play games with have moved almost wholesale over to Horus Heresy at this point. The local store I go to is simultaneously planning and starting to host a 40k tournament series, as well as a Horus Heresy campaign series, not meant to be too competitively focused, and they haven't filled enough seats for a 40k tournament to happen, but we've had around 30 people sign up for the Horus Heresy campaign. So every legion has at least 1 or 2 people playing it as well, and it's fantastic and it looks really fun. I can't wait to get into it. Alrighty, and not sure why it's done that, but okay. Something like that, shall we, for stream models? That sucks. But yeah, I can bring them up on the screen. Do it this way. So start off with work in progress I made on my not Lucius model for the Heresy. I'm too impatient and I really wanted to run him in some games, so I kit bashed this model together. And I really am quite happy with how it's turned out. And just how devastating Lucius is on the tabletop. He's absolutely worth a few hundred points that he is. Could you imagine if the Horus Heresy overtakes 40k? Well, the vast majority of people who play 40k are Imperium players. It's something, of last time I checked, it was something like 70% of people who play 40k are Imperium players of some faction, with the Imperial Guard and Space Marines being 2 of the most popular factions, with the second most popular being the Tau, and then Chaos Space Marines, then Guard. And yeah, so if every Imperium player stopped playing 40k and just moved over to Heresy, it would be game over for 40k pretty much, which sounds a bit silly, I guess, but hey. So, oh, and also Chaos players could also have a lot of fun in the Heresy as well, because you could just use all of your 40k minis in the Heresy as well. And if anyone tells you can't, tonight I will finish a video and I'll upload it tomorrow, I promise. And in that I've used images and artwork taken exclusively from a Visions of Heresy book, which includes plenty of images of Chaos Space Marines, which look even more chaotic and far less Space Marine-like than some of the 40k range. So if anyone tells you, Chaos players, that you can't run your 40k minis, you can tell them to go do one and to read their own lore. or to actually look up for sources and materials that make up the Horus Heresy. And speaking of which, this old Demon Prince model that Cypher's posted, which looks just great. It's nice to see these old models. And a Chaos Space Marine, which could quite easily be used for this, for the Heresy as well, really. So we've got Power Maul, Plasma Pistol. It's wearing Mark 6 armor, look at the legs. That's Mark 6. And yeah, could quite easily fit into a Heresy army as well as a 40k army, which is great. And some more progress on it. I just absolutely love the old models. They have just so much character. And yeah, they do look quite goofy and really weirdly proportioned, but they still look great. I really like them. Oh yeah, the Varak Mini, we'll get back onto this one. But I quite like how he's turned out. He's wearing a mix of Mark III and 4 armor to match the artwork Varak had commissioned. I think he's turned out quite well. Then we have some Mark III and Mark II Marines. Again from Cypher. Absolutely beautiful models. Looking forward to seeing them painted. Yeah, there's some comments about some of this being recast, so no one's going to notice or necessarily care, really. Unless you go to a GW event and they get suspicious, I guess. Yeah, it's one of the things which is probably the greatest casualty of the switch over to digitally sculpting and designing all the miniatures is the loss of character hand sculpting the minis added. As every single model from 2011 prior pretty much was sculpted by hand by some guy using green stuff or milliput and some sculpting tools, and it allowed them to add so much character and personality, whereas now they can just pull up a chassis or a generic shape to the to a frame and edit it. I think the Primaris are one of the biggest examples of that, really, with just how samey and lack of personality all of the minis possess, because they're all just 3D models posed differently and then cut up to turn into monopose minis. I like the simplicity of the Horus Heresy models. 40k stuff feels too busy. Yeah, and that's a nice thing about the Horus Heresy range as well. You have that freedom to go for, the clean-cut, massed armies of Space Marines all wearing polished, perfect uniforms, or just kind of dirty and broken stuff, to the absolutely insane, gone off the wall, even more chaotic or more mechanical monstrosities towards the end of the conflict. There's just so much freedom and potential to the Horus Heresy, which so many people overlook. And hey Tuppy, I'm having trouble deciding between Iron Warriors and Sons of Horus for 30k. What would you suggest? So the Iron Warriors are very, very shooty and very, very killy. Their shrapnel bolt guns are really fun for playing with the technical elements of the tabletop, as they force your opponent to do a pinning check, and if they're pinned then they can't move and they can't use reactions, so you can deny people their extra reactions and extra things, which can give you a huge advantage at the cost of your weapons being not as far in range. They also get special rules for hunting down vehicles, so if you're finding yourself in a situation where contemptors and tanks are giving you problems, then Iron Warriors are a good army for that. And the Sons of Horus are very difficult to kill in close combat, as I'm trying to remember what the exact words is, but Yeah, they're a lot tougher in close combat, so they're far less likely to die when people get up close. And are a very good all-round army in that sense. They're also very adept at running over people with tanks. So if you like a lot of characters with plot armor and you like running over people with tanks, then the Sons of Horus are a good army for you. If you like shooting the crap out of someone, then the Iron Warriors are a great army for you. Ultimately, every legion is very strong at its designed role and intended role, and all of them are very fun. Every time someone asks me for advice or suggestions, I have a look at the rules and see something that I'd really enjoy doing with a legion. And it's one of the things which, again, I'm really enjoying about the Heresy of I'm looking at all of these different armies and thinking, how would I play these? And I've found, for basically every single legion, a way which I think would be a lot of fun to play. So then, for me personally, I have to then sit back and think, okay, well, what armies would I actually want to collect? What army do I think looks the best? And which armies would I be most proud to have a collection of? That's the main driving factor for me in deciding what armies I choose. Which is why I have a Emperor's Children army and I have a Alpha Legion army, because I just think the models look so cool and there's just so much fun you can have with the models, let alone on the tabletop. And I've always liked my big stompy robots, which is why I enjoy Battletech, and the Imperial Knights scratch that itch really well. Sorry, just noticed Monty has shared my a link to this stream. Thanks for that. I'm going to pretend that didn't happen. I didn't notice that, so I don't get into trouble. But hey. Yeah, and I also love the modelling potential of the Imperial Army, which was previously called Imperial Cults and Militia. As it's just such an open-ended set of rules. You could build anything from, well, Necromunda gangers high on cocaine, genuinely wielding knives, and who are just gone mad from drug abuse, all the way to super advanced techno soldiers wearing highly advanced, powerful power armor equipped with guns which are too powerful for even the Imperium to understand at large. And I've been kind of homebrewing and developing my own setting, well, my own planet for the Horus Heresy, and 40k, which is a feudal world ran and controlled by a collection of Imperial Knight households fighting to be the overall rulers of the planet. And they have these huge feudal infantry armies of just basically just medieval guys with lasguns as their standing men-at-arms, and I normally field both Imperial Knights and Imperial Militia together. So I have this massive army of peasants with lasguns operating giant Earthshaker artillery pieces being led by these Imperial Knights. And everyone I've played against absolutely loves seeing the army. It's just such a fun army to field, and one I'm very proud of. And yeah, it's just, I feel like 40k has lost that a lot, especially even though 40k has made great steps towards encouraging you to create your own stuff and homebrew your own stuff. I feel like it's just lost a lot of its edge with that, because with the amount of freedom they've given us and additional rules and stuff they've given us for creating our own custom forces, all it's done is made the game feel even more competitive, because everyone's naturally just trying to min-max, even if they aren't really intentionally trying to do so. And with the Horus Heresy, it's the best way to put it. You're encouraged to min-max because it makes your army's lore accurate, but it's very difficult to min-max your armies incredibly hard to a point where they are unbeatable. Every army is strong if you play it to your army's strengths. You can play a completely incorrect army list. Like, if you really fucking wanted to, you could play an entire infantry, close combat focused Iron Warriors army. It would suck, it would be really stupid, but you could. You could run a tank army of Emperor's Children, even though they wouldn't really get any benefits or advantages to doing so. You could. But you won't necessarily get any benefits for it. And I really like that. Yeah, it's pretty difficult to justify and explain why an entire army of dreadnoughts would even be fielded in the first place. And I feel like that's another thing which the Horus Heresy game benefits from, which 40k doesn't. And that is the fact that you're still narratively driven. Like, everything you do in the Horus Heresy is still driven by the narrative. If you're trying to build a strong army list, you're still pretty much building it to the narrative and to the story. You're theming it around certain events just because that's how the rules go. And it means that you do, yes, you get certain situations where, yes, you could run an entire army of dreadnoughts. But why would you? What's the lore reasoning behind it? Can you really explain that or justify that? There's certain situations where that might have happened, but it's never really anything that would have resulted in an entire battle. I like the 40k models. If 30k match with proportions and scale, I'd probably say farewell to 40k. Well, they are. The new Mark 6 Marines are significantly better proportioned and scaled to match with the Primaris, and I can't see the new models going forwards, whether that's for the Mechanicum or for the Imperial Army or the new demons, which we should probably be getting. I can't see any of those not being better proportioned or in line with the 40k stuff, because Games Workshop knows that people will be buying the Horus Heresy miniatures for 40k, and I think that's one of the main appeals to it for everyone right now, is the fact that if you collect a Horus Heresy army, you also have a 40k army. It just works. And I imagine that pretty soon. Oh no, we already have all the rules for Mechanicum stuff in 9th edition, don't we? That would have been in one of the Forge World indexes. And also upscale the Mark III and Mark IV. I upscaled mine, yeah. And it won't be... I say give it 2 years, and I think we'll probably see new Mark III and Mark IV kits. Oh, and will I stick to that? Probably not. And thanks for the donation, G. Just waltzes in and donates. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, gee, you'll notice that there is now a progress bar on the top of the screen, because I finally worked out how to make that work. A Dread army would be lore friendly for Salamanders and Iron Hands. They're all dead after Istvan. Yes, but at the same time, how would the Shattered Legions be able to maintain and upkeep a army of dreadnoughts? It would be kind of difficult for them to do with their isolated ships scattered across the galaxy, which no one cares about. Speaking of dreadnoughts, and G, is G's Blood Angel dreadnoughts, a Contemptor and a Leviathan. Are these both Forge World minis? Looks like you did some green stuff work on the Contemptor. Iron Hands just yeet other Legion's dreads according to Barak. Well, yeah, they do steal other people's stuff because they're bastards who have no sense of moral or chivalry. But that's 10,000 years into the future from where we're talking about today, so... Wait, gee, are these both plastic? Wow, you got those painted really quickly. And sculpted, and that's a pretty good pose for a Blood Angel one. Well, if the rumours about 10th edition are correct, then you have Codex Angels of Death, so you probably will get some rules for running Blood Angels and Dark Angels, so there could be some potential there in the future. Or you could just paint massive red crosses over all of your Dark Angels and run them as an entire army of Death Company. And that's some incredibly bright and vibrant purple you got there, Zell. Wow. Did he say how it is? Luxion purple and then Liquitex deep purple. Wow, that is... that is very purple. So if you're still here, that looks great. I don't think I gave my opinion in the chat. Yeah, I had some great purple if you're going for that more violet colour scheme. I really like it. It's Cedrus Marduk, isn't it? And thanks for the second donation, G. Really helps out. Fulgrim would be proud, yes indeed. He definitely would be. Loud and purple. Yeah, probably quite high up there. I love Ribino, 3rd Legion. Oh god, you have painted them Ribino colours, haven't they? Oh god. And Tuppy, why is there a space wolf on the Alpharius base and not an Imperial Fist? It makes no sense. Well, you see... let's just go for model quickly. As quick as Forgeworld will let us. The Alpha Legion had some prominent battles against multiple legions during the Heresy. Firstly, it was keeping the White Scars out of the Heresy by blocking their communication, so they weren't actually aware that the Heresy was happening for the first couple of years. Until Omegon sabotaged the Alpha Legion's plans to keep the White Scars out of it by just keeping the communications dead between them and the Imperium. Then they had a fight with the White Scars again, once the White Scars were suddenly aware of what was going on because the transmissions went through against the Alpha Legion. And, why did I click on Lioness? I want Alpha Legion. And, yeah, then the next prominent battle I can think of is one against the Space Wolves, in which the Lion, I think, assaulted the Alpha? Or was it the other way around? Or was it the Alpha Legion who assaulted the... flagship of the Space Wolves. I can't remember which way round it was, but Alfarius and Varus had a fight on the bridge of one of the ships, and Alfarius fought against Varus and survived whilst wearing Cataphractii Terminator armor, which severely hindered his movement because he was pretending to be one of his what they called, one of his special Terminators. So that will be why, because the Alpha Legion messed up the Space Wolves. Are there any 3D prints of the dead Marine on Alpharis's base? He is a great die Marine and I'm tempted to recast mine to use him on Stumpy Leviathan's base. And yeah, the Alpha Legion have fought against each other in Serpent Beneath and also the 7th Serpent. And yeah, the Alpharis sculpt is fantastic, and I will be getting myself one eventually. Not necessarily from Forge World, because I can't. There's just no way I can personally justify spending 92 quid on a singular model like this. It's insane. And yeah, I wouldn't even put this as a donation goal because I just think it's such a waste of money at this point. So I probably would go third party or try and find a 3D print file for him. For any 3D print? Yeah, I'm fairly sure there is. I've seen some dead Marines around because I was looking for Varak. Oh yeah, the Lernian Terminators, that's what they're called. But yeah, it's a cool model. I was at Warhammer Fest when they revealed him, and yeah, I adore him so much. So yeah, I also bought, as for my Alpha Legion army, I have the Alpha Legion Power Armored Praetor. I clicked Praetor, not the heads. I do have the head upgrade. Yeah, I have this model and I absolutely love it. It's such a good one. I was in a bad mood the other day and got the line to make myself feel better and bankrupt. Well, if it makes you happy, then it's probably worth the money. As what is surviving if you aren't enjoying life? And I also have Dynat, which I've been working on recently, and I absolutely love his model. And he has some really strong rules as well. He's an incredible character killer in the Horus Heresy with his current rule set. I also have a unit of the Alpha Legion Headhunter Kill Team, which previous edition were objectively unplayable. You could run them, but there's absolutely no reason to because they were worse in basically every single regard to the regular Seeker squads. This edition, it does look like it's a bit different now. They are worth taking. And if only they did all the Primarchs in plastic. Would be the dream, wouldn't it, if we could have it all in plastic and not with the Forge World tax. At the end of the day, the models just wouldn't ever sell in such in a high enough demand for it to make it even worthwhile or profitable to justify making an entire plastic production line for each individual Primarch. It's the yeah. Yeah, they have to make an entire production line for every plastic kit. And with all the other ranges they need to support and all the other models, it would just cost so much in time and space as well as money for them to build production lines for all of these different kits and upgrades. Whereas with Forge World, it's a lot easier because they make a decent cast and then they can just, well, cast on demand, really, and make enough so they have a constant inventory and just make some more as and when they need to. So right now they need to make some more Alpha Legion Headhunters, so that will be on their to-do list. And it's a lot easier for them to make these smaller, less popular kits as Forge World resin than it is plastic. And yeah, resin also, it doesn't feel like that with certain models, but there is just an insane amount of detail and quality you can get in Forge World resin, which you just can't get in either fine cast or plastic, or with a 3D printer if you're one of those people. So there are some benefits for it being Forge World resin. And I have found resin cast of Primax to be very good so far. I don't mind it being resin slow. Models for sales, it's nice to have a bit of weight. Yeah, and the weight and perceived value does help with it as well. And what's the emergency? Well, I guess it's a little bit of clickbait, but I wouldn't normally be streaming today, especially not at this time. The only reason why I'm doing this stream right now, Stephen, is because Chapter Master Varrock is away, and there's no one to do the daily updates on the news and stuff, and to give people a place to hang out and chat. GW reposts the Age of Sigmar line. Some nerds may be upset, but sacrifice I'm willing to make. Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I personally wouldn't shed a tear if they were to axe the Age of Sigmar range, but I've got a distinct feeling that if they were to axe Age of Sigmar, it would be replaced directly with the Old World. And like how we got Ran in plus. Yeah, so the thing with Ran and Dominion Zephon, they are, well, always intended to be a limited edition run, and it's a single sprue. It's a tiny sprue. It's one that they can easily, well, it's more cost efficient for them to convert a production line over producing. So it's not as great a loss for them to produce these tiny little models, these little character ones. And it was intended to be a limited edition run to go alongside the books. So we might eventually see Legion-specific characters for every Legion. And it would be nice, and I'm fairly sure that's what's going to happen with Corswain. Especially as, from my understanding, he's been playing a bit more of a significant role in the Siege of Terror books. I'd be surprised if he didn't get a plastic model for the next Black Library event. The Varrock is away, so a Tuppy will play. Yeah, I suppose that's right. I suppose you could either see it as me being altruistic and trying to support and provide for the community, or I'm just trying to steal the limelight, but yeah. No, I really enjoy doing this for you guys, and the last couple of streams I've done I've really enjoyed, so I'll take every opportunity to. You can make and store a shitload of them too. Small boxes don't take a lot of space. Exactly. And there are so many plastic single sprue minis, either in boxes or plastic blister packs, which don't really sell well. So they've already kind of written off a predetermined amount of space in stores and in their storerooms for these kinds of minis. And that would be great. We'd probably use him in a 40k Dark Angel army. Yeah, why not? If he's going to cost 12 quid like the other models as well, then it would be very easy to buy two and convert them around. You got any other Legion plans after the Emperor's Children? Yes, once I've got to a point where I feel like I can run the Emperor's Children in any way I'd want to. Because I do want to make a, in quotation marks, loyalist Emperor's Children force. I want to make for a nice sized third company elite, so lots of noise marines. And I like to make a Palatine Lodge army as well. So once I've got enough to do those three, then I'll probably look into revisiting my Alpha Legion. I think that'll be the first thing I do. And then I'm kind of torn, and to be honest, I'll probably put it up to a vote on the Discord server as to what you guys would rather see, because I've got two interesting ideas, I think is the best way to put it. I want to, at some point, as these are both Legion plans, which I will do regardless, is a Traitor Ultramarine force. And also, I want to do a White Scars army, but a little bit differently. I want to make a Mantis Warriors Badab War force, using the rules from the Horus Heresy. And to play them as a Horus Heresy force. You know what would be an absolute power move, Connor? Would be to buy 5 or 6 of the plastic Courseway minis and chop them up so that you can make a entire, or what they called, the special Terminators Dark Angels get. And just make an entire squad out of the Courseway mini as a base. White Scars or Chads, yeah, I really like the White Scars Legion, and my favourite Space Marine chapter has always been the Mantis Warriors. I do like the look of the Emperor's Spears. Those are the blue and black guys, aren't they? They're like the pale blue. Is that what they're called in 40k? I think that's a 30k unit, isn't it? The Cenobians. Oh, Deathwing Terminators, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, make some death Deathwing Termies out of Courseway minis. Yeah, if you do it, then I definitely want to see, because it's such a ridiculously excessive idea, but I think it would be quite funny. And also, like, if they do cost as much as the new models are costing for characters, it wouldn't cost that much more than using regular Terminators as well. Yeah, well, Cypher's done an incredible job of converting minis for Dark Angels. So if you're on the Discord server, then talking to them about it would be a great idea. That's amazing that you had a functional and usable Finecast mini, by the way. G's been hard at work on a Kratos with Volkite. Good choice. And converting Samael onto a jet bike. Well, onto a console. There's some old minis. Oh, and nice. Yeah, so one thing I wanted to joke about with these two minis is they have the Aquila on them. Can't be having that now, can we? Got the Aquila on the leg. Aquila on the torso, Aquila on the sword. Oh, and the backpack as well. There's an Aquila on that. Wow. What you're going to have to do is give these models to me so that I can put them into a legion which should wear the Aquila. As I feel like that's the only thing. Oh, and Zell has also started to paint. Wow, it's such a vibrant purple. And there we are, Cypher. Hey. Yeah, that is an incredibly vibrant purple that you got there, Zell. It does look really good, though. Just a small amount of stuff to work on there, don't you? Let's have a look at my showcase. I had a bunch of models posted in here, including Cypher's Legion. Hey Jalio, we're doing we're doing stream models from my server. What Titan did you buy, Hamish? Yeah, here's G's Blood Angels again, so got some lovely power armored guys. And honestly, the Mark III really doesn't look out of place here at all. It looks perfectly fine next to the Mark VI. I think a lot of people are just being overly dramatic. Like, I know this guy's hunched over a bit, but still. Yeah, if you do !Discord in chat, there is a community Discord server for my streams and channel. Not as really many videos on there. And I do have a Ko-fi and Patreon, so using this opportunity to chill as well if you're interested in any of those. Nemesis Warbringer. Now that's a cool model. Are you going to be going to Valfest with it? Because that would be fantastic to see lined up against Popeye's Titans. Even more of the Blood Angels. They just look so good. And I do actually really like your style to the green stuff sculpting. Gee, if you're still around. It does look quite nice and stylized. It has a nice character to it. And how did you do this? How did you do the guy with both arms from a pistol? I don't think I've seen that anywhere. I think G might have disappeared off. That's a shame. I'll pester him about it later. And you got Cell's Sons of Horus. Of the Praetor from a box. It does look really nice on the colours, and I really like how you've done the shading on this as well. And then we have Cypher's Loyalist Legion, with many 40k and 30k Marines blended together for a fantastic collection. Need some paint on them, but they're getting there. I know you stripped them down. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing all of these painted up in the Heresy colours. So there's the conversions you've made and the adaptations, I guess, those not quite conversions you've made to some of these models do make them look fantastic, even if they are standing on Emperor's children for the most part. I really... Can you still get the Heroes of the Chapter models anymore? There's certain ones like the guy with a massive hammer which would be great for converting up for Emperor's children. The guy with his sword down like this as well. An older, partially complete green skull in 40k showcase. Cool. We'll have a look at that in a moment. A nice collection of the Cataphracti Terminators there. Oh, and a Tartarus. That D Tartarus? I can't recognise this Medicae model thing on the end here. It does look really cool though. It's just a simple change there, but the wings on that head really do sell it as Dark Angels. Not which one it is, but hey. And there's the idea of converting the plastic Coursewayne models. I'm gonna call it and say it. We'll get a plastic Coursewayne model. I'm fairly sure that's what's going to happen at this point. Like doing stuff like this would be really cool to see. You know, just converting up and changing it. And thanks for the donation, Meow. I'm assuming that's a certain cat that's done that. Thank you so much for that. Really means a lot. And hopefully, alright. How is the microphone quality for you guys? Most people there's the cat. Yeah, thank you so much for that. But how is the microphone quality? Most people have asked, said it's alright, but they never really gave much feedback, so be as honest as you want. But yes, it's definitely a Lupercat moment. Yeah, I think it would be a fun project to do at some point is to actually make the Sons of Hamish chapter at some point. Like if we could actually work on that as a product or a project together, I think that could be fun. And yeah, Cypher, I'm just really impressed with how much character and personality you've been able to add to these otherwise monopose models as well. You've done an excellent job with these. Like, if it wasn't for the fact they're standing facing the exact same way, the middle and the one on the right there, I wouldn't really be able to. I wouldn't notice or register as being the same base mini to begin with. And now you've done a bit more of a change to the one on the left. There it is again with the Aquilas. Cypher, come on. There used to be. There used to be a huge collection of models for wild beasts and stuff in Warhammer Fantasy, and I'm fairly sure there are some tigers or large cat models back then, so I'm sure we could source them. Or we could just, find some to 3D print, because I'm certain someone's made some. And yeah, definitely. And but these guys I really adore, because the Dark Vengeance box set is from 6th edition is very special to me, as it's the box set that got me to start playing Space Marines in the first place. Even though by the end of 6th edition I was already playing Horus Heresy, it's the box set that got me to go Loyalist Space Marines. At that point, I was already playing. I'd stopped playing Chaos Space Marines and sold them on, and was playing Imperial Guard. It was a Dark Vengeance box that really got me into playing Space Marines and then into Horus Heresy. So the Dark Vengeance Librarian model is incredibly special to me because of that, and I love how you've managed to change and adapt a model 4 different times to make unique minis. And it does look fantastic for the Horus Heresy Dark Angels as well. Especially as he's again wearing Mark 6 armor underneath. And I like this beaky crow kind of helmet you got on the one on the end here. These two models, I'm not sure what the bases are, or if you just kit batteries together, they do look great as well. Managed to make such an incredibly diverse range of minis. And they're all fantastic. Right, and now for Hamish's Death Guard. That Praetor is just an iconic model, isn't it? And it looks great in the Death Guard colours. If you it should work. If you type !Discord, it should give you a link. If not, I'll put one in chat for you. Okay. No worries. I will grab an invite to throw into the chat now. Budgies. So yeah. So Jalio, I'm streaming to both Twitch and YouTube, and it seems like the bot's not working on Twitch at the moment. Need to manually throw it in. Alright, there you go. Yeah, and it's, with one of, Death Guard and Heresy aren't that popular. Which really surprises me, because I think that's one they're at their coolest, personally. And I love the Forge World, the event exclusive Cataphracti is a model I really love. And it's great to see it painted up so well as well. And with the plastic console. And what is this model? And where is it from? Because both you and Cypher have it, I've never seen it before. Primus Medicae. Limited. Shit, so it's not around anymore. Oh, that's annoying. Oh well. Yeah, it's such a cool looking model. It's got enough personality to make it look interesting without being completely derivative, which is nice. And here's Zell's current Sons of Horus host with Horus himself, and God, it just looks great. It's so nice to see these painted warbands up, and I really like how you've painted the Spartan. It just looks great. Really like that we're just staring with the black and red, whereas the Sons of Horus wear the greeny blue and black. It just fits so nicely in a way that I can't really quite put together. It just works so well. You've done a really good job with it. And the orange plasma as well stands out really well. The legions of Cypher. So many Marines. It's crazy. So many Mark III and Mark IV. That's something I have to give to you Sons of Horus players. Like, almost every single Sons of Horus army I've seen painted up has been done slightly differently, which has given it a really nice, like, twist and, I guess, perspective on how the colour scheme should work, all the way from pale blue all the way through to a nice green colour, and the colours you've used, all of you Sons of Horus players used to complement that is always different as well, and it almost always look fantastic. And so your work is no different there. I really love how this has all come together. And well, there's your March of the Ancients Contemptor spam and Castor Ferrum spam. So many dreadnoughts. And Tech Marines to look after them as well. Metal boxes as well to ferry some of the squads around. I think you need a few more of these. No way, you necessarily should be spending more at this point, but there is a significant imbalance between Marines to boxes here. Cypher. And with Flex with the Forge World Resin weapon upgrades as well. I love how there's just a sprinkling of really well converted minis just in here as well, like this Sergeant with his robes. So it just looks really cool, just randomly sprinkled in here between these, companies of Marines. And that's where the Mark III Beecher Squad hangs out inside the Spartan. Not sure if I'd personally put the breaches inside of Spartan. I feel like that's a little bit redundant, but we're all of cool. I see some Saturnine, well, in quotes, Saturnine Terminator armor there as well. Just a healthy amount of Terminators there. And I really like how you kit bashed the Indomitus Dreadwing Termies in with the Cataphracti to make these guys at the front. I'm really impressed with the progress you've been posting with different servers. It just works so well. I'm guessing these are probably veterans by the looks of it. So many different kit bashes and conversions sprinkled in here as well. So many fantastic models you put together. Oh, and here's some of the bigger Dreadnoughts here, the Leviathans and the Doredios. It's probably my favourite Dreadnought, to be honest. Love it. And also the Sakaran up front here. Here we go, here's some even more stuff. This is where all the Indomitus Terminators are hanging around and some of the characters as well. And a very nice piece of terrain as well. And the lions nice and centre. And then, not to be ignored, the Mastodon here with a Proteus limited edition Mark 6, I think that is. Looks so good. Oh, and we've got a couple of Imperial Marines down here as well. Nice to see those. The Mastodon's such a massive vehicle. I bet that was a pain to put together. Even more stuff, most of this is painted. And I find it really interesting watching your progress on converting your old Mark 6 Marines up to be a bit more new scale. Been really enjoying seeing the progress on that. I don't think I'm going to be brave enough to try and upscale my old minis. I think I'll just run them as is. You can never have enough peakies. Good question. I do happen to have the Liber Astartes at my feet at the moment, so I can have a quick check on the rules for them. The Mastodon has a movement characteristic of 10 inches, Byron. And it's Ballistic Skill 4 with 14 points of armor all around, so same as a Spartan. 12 hull points, and a capacity of 42 Marines. which is absolutely insane. Well, the Beakies are kind of iconic to the Dark Angels though as well, so it's not a terrible thing to have many of. And Cypher's current project, which is to convert Samuel into a Praetor on jet bike. And I think the model and the kit bash you've done here looks really good. Yes, the Mastodon with a capacity of 42 is the answer to everything. Got a bit more of Hamish's stuff here with the rest of his Death Guard. I'm fairly sure it is an assault vehicle. Hold on, let me double check. That's something I should have looked at. Yes, it is an assault vehicle. What we need to do eventually is I need to get my hands on a Mastodon and I need to load it up with 42 Palatine blades and just throw that at Varak. Because all he seems to do is complain about how broken and overpowered my Palatine blades were. Yes, the Death Guard. They do look fantastic, and I really like the more like warm green colour you've gone for, like the bone kind of colour for them as well. Makes them feel a lot more vibrant and a bit more, I guess interesting would be the nicest way to put it. Not that the Death Guard aren't interesting by default. Yeah, it really helps them stand out and look great. And the warm gold kind of copper you've gone for as well looks really good with the green and the cream. I'm actually planning to lighten up some of the dark ones so they're a bit more in line with Grave Wardens. Yeah, that would look good as well. Ooh, yeah. If someone if someone was that colorblind as to think that you painted yellow and green Imperial Fists, yeah, I would probably feel so ashamed that I'd want to repaint them as well. Well, I'm not really sure how you'd think this is yellow. It really isn't that yellow at all. Really dark. Oh, it's in the other channel, isn't it? Yeah, I wouldn't really call that yellow. Warhammer should do a community poll asking what we would want. I'm going to assume what we would want in plastic. I reckon that will probably come up in some capacity in the next community survey that they do. What? Oh, I don't want to. Oh, those do look fantastic. What tipped the Leviathan up? Promotion should brighten them up and add some highlights relatively quick and painless. Yeah, that'd be a really good way to do it. Use something like your Shabty Bone or something. Oh, well, you probably want something a bit more pale, wouldn't you? Yeah, it'd be quite easy to fix if you want them to be a bit more pale and less yellow, apparently. Um, I still can't see how anyone would mistake these for Imperial Fists. But yeah, I think that would be a good way to fix it. And what did happen to the Leviathan? I need to know why it's upside down. I thought now we've stopped covering the Dark Angels, we'd be free of the Fallen. Ah. Yeah, those two would probably be a better choice. Wraithbone or Screaming Skull would work. Those boys. And Cell has posted the Leviathan. And that's looking really good. I like what you've gone for the yellow orangey eyes with it as well to keep it in line with that accent colour. It does look really good. Are you going to put a glow in the Volkite weapons on the torso, or are you going to leave them silver? Ah, now that's clever. Yeah, doing the black so you can swap them. That's a good idea. Saves you having to buy an extra set when you play a different Legion. And Alex has posted some. Oh, yeah, that's a really annoying spot as well to have chipped it, Alex. Yeah, I'd be quite annoyed if I'd done that. Although that's not irreparable. If you're patient and use some green stuff or some milliput, you should be able to patch that up. Just have to be a bit patient. And there we go, there's the primer. And some extra stuff. I'm guessing that's just the stuff to be washed, yeah? And Jelly has been doing some green stuffing. Excellent, I can't wait to see your stuff built. And nice, Jellio, if you're still around. It's been a while since you posted your stuff. Yeah, that looks like a fun little project you got there, Joe. What's the end model going to be if you're still around? Yeah, I don't think he's around. Alright. Where else have people posted stuff? Oh, I suppose we can have a look in Battletech up for the one thing which I posted, which is my Mackie battle mech. So this is the very first mech in the timeline of Battletech. This is the first mech which started off the whole concept of big stumpy robots in the Oh, there you are, Jalio. Just as I move on. Yeah, what are you turning that sculpt into? Let's go back to it for a second. About 40k. Nice. And yeah, it's looking really good. And yeah, I think the green stuff, especially with how sticky it gets, is pretty good for doing more nurgly stuff, isn't it? Because you're allowed. It's very easy to make bumpy, uneven textures with green stuff. And yeah, I really like the idea of it turning into moth wings. Yeah, no, it absolutely works. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing the progress you make on it. Well, you should probably touch it soon. As I feel like leaving it for 3 months and 7 days or whatever nurgly numbers we're starting to approach is probably not the best idea. I think we've all had enough Nurgle in our lives now. No, don't tempt the gods. Right. And I think that's mostly it for. Yeah, Cypher has posted an update on the demon. Oh, the demon prince. So now all the paint is done. I think, yeah, it's next up brushes and then I think maybe highlights. But yeah, it's looking really good, and I really like what you've gone for the idea that they are the butcher's nails instead of hair. Yeah, any models you want to show off now would be a great time to put them. Ideally, if it's work in progress stuff and work in progress channels, and we can have a look at it and talk about it. Yeah, this Demon Prince is looking fantastic. Absolutely adore the old model, and you're doing it justice. Give me a minute, some time for wardrobe. I, I've ended up putting minis and boxes of minis and stuff all over the place, Chow. Don't, don't worry about it. One of the main reasons why I haven't really like focused on getting a face cam set up yet is just because of how much of a mess my room is at the moment with Warhammer stuff. And yeah, you guys don't need to see this. I will get it tidied up and start doing face cam related stuff soon. Although, again, it's like, other than being able to see my face and my reactions to stuff, I don't feel like it necessarily adds too much to this stream, honestly. Obviously, if I'm wrong and you think you'd much rather be able to see my face during these kinds of streams, tell me now so I can focus on getting that sorted. Oh yeah, and Hamish's cat is absolutely right there. Don't let the Nurgle moths anywhere near your clothing. Make sure that wardrobe's closed. Yeah, whilst we wait. I had a lot of fun with this Battletech Mini. It's one that's very important to the lore, because it's the battle mech that started off all the stuff in lore that makes Battletech so interesting. And I haven't painted clean white in a very long time. Like, either way, it's nice to have these hobby check-ins. Yeah, yeah, I I'm doing this because I love interacting with you guys and I love talking about the hobby and whatever you guys are doing. It's stuff I'm always really interested to talk about, and I really enjoy the hobby. And my channel, my stream is always going to be focused mostly on the hobby side of things and hobby adjacent things. And yeah, this is. I always want my stuff to be very community focused and community driven, and doing these things, talking about your models, talking about what you're working on and stuff is something I'm always wanting to do. Once you get a face cam, next thing will be fake tan and blonde hair. Member goals. Well, I mean, the corruption's already there. There's already a goal and progress bar at the top of the screen, so I've already fallen one step into. Well, already put one foot in the spiral. Um, I'm not sure if I'm going to go as far as to make stupid bets, which I'll regret later. Um, but if there are some really funny ideas, I will set them as goals. That's a nice lot of Death Guard stuff you got there, Jalio. Are you going with the traditional green colour scheme, or are you going to be changing it up? Rhyming with Great Van painting purple. Now, that's an interesting colour scheme. Oh, wait, what? Priming Death Guard green and then painting it purple, so it will be green and purple? Lower purple. Do you have any pics of any of your painted minis, Joe? So I'm interested to see how that looks. Your pile of shame. Yeah, it looks relatively organised for a pile of shame. Ah, okay, Joe, that makes a bit more sense. So not sure if it will be contrast purple or normal purple base coat, but I plan to use green in sections to make it look like the armour is mouldy in a way. Yeah, that's a good idea, and definitely a cool one and a nice way to add the greens and purples to make them really stand out. Yeah, Joe, you are now required to post updates in my server. Yeah, I hope you're aware of that because we all really want to see how that's going to turn out. Alright, has anyone else got stuff they want to show off, or? Oh, sorry, dust allergies playing up. I'm thinking of using the Solstice and Warhammer Plus for a leader of the cultist army of Bellicor worshippers. Nice. Slacker, will that be for 40k, Age of Sigmar, or Warhammer Fantasy? Because I'm assuming that's not for Horus Heresy. No, we'll have prompted before Valfest. Yeah. Oh, you're going to be taking them to Valfest? Joe. So it'd be really cool to be able to see them in person. And Taco, don't worry. Next stream we'll go back over all the stuff that's been posted since then, and it'll keep doing this cycle every stream. So don't worry about rushing home or trying to get pictures put up as quickly as possible, because there's always next time. Yeah, I suppose we can finish off this section, I guess, with looking at for stuff I've been painting for 40k. As whilst I'm not necessarily hugely interested in 40k, there's still stuff which I am interested in. So I was saying earlier about how I want to run a Mantis Warriors chapter in for Horus Heresy. I did a test colour scheme using the new Mantis Warriors green on the new Mark 6 Marines. And yeah, I'm really liking how it looks. It's very vibrant at the moment, but I'm planning on dirtying it down with enamels and pigments and oil washes, so it won't be as bright. And I do want to do a hobby hangout stream at some point where I do all the oil washes and weathering powders and stuff on these guys with you, because I think it would be a lot of fun. Still need to paint the gold on some of these boys. And why Mantis Warriors? The Mantis Warriors are my favourite Space Marine chapter, and they basically have been for as long as I've been into Warhammer. Warhammer 40k. I like their whole story of, being good guys who ended up fighting on the wrong side of a war, of a conflict which was entirely avoidable. I like the tragedy and loss they've gone through, and I really like how they are basically Middle Eastern white scars. I really like the Islamic and Iranian influences to a legion, to a chapter. And I really love how it ties all in with the white scars and the the Middle Eastern Khanates of ancient history, when Genghis Khan did invade that area. I definitely want to watch that hobby hangout, as I haven't been brave enough to make use of my streaking chrome yet, but the Death Guard Pro is well suited to it. Yeah, like with all streams, every stream I do gets uploaded to YouTube as a VOD and is featured on the front page. So if you ever miss one, it will be there. So don't feel pressured to come and hang out here. You can always watch them back later. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, because I haven't really used streaking grimes and stuff on Space Marines, as I normally use them for vehicles. I'll try and get my friend who plays Iron Warriors to send pictures over of the Iron Warriors vehicles I painted up for him to show what I've done in the past with that stuff. Yeah, so in total, with 40k Death Guard minis I have to build and paint, it's 3,800 points or so in total. Just a small army then. No pressure and no rush. You'll get that sorted. And it sounds like a really fun colour scheme as well, so you'll probably get into that and really enjoy it. Crimson Slaughter. I remember when those guys came about in 6th edition. Yeah, that's a yeah, they're an interesting warband. They didn't quite sell me on playing them as the main army as intended from 6th edition and 7th edition's box. But they are quite a cool warband. Wow, it's already 10 o'clock. Now, they do say time flies when you're having fun, hey? So, what do you guys want to do? So I don't really have much on the hobby table to work on today. That won't take hours on hours. I do need to, get some sleep at some point. We could do some marbles, or we could just call it a night. It does also fly if you trebuchet a grandfather clock. True. That would be a way to make time fly. I'm gonna call it evening. Thanks for a good stream. Final marble game, then to bed. Yeah, you know what? Let's do a marble run and then later Tuppy Van hooking me from chemo. I'll be heading to the airport to fly back home. Well, have a I would say a lovely evening, but yeah, have a safe travel and a good evening, I guess. Taco. Hope it all goes well. And Saka, have a wonderful evening. And here, I need to try and decide which Legio I'm painting my Titan up as when I finally build it. Yeah, catch you later, Taco. Yeah, and night, Byron. This being the obvious choice for me as a clear heretic. Any other suggestions? I really don't know enough about the Titan Legions to really suggest which colour schemes you should go for. I feel like with such big centerpiece models, you should just paint it however you want without any necessary care because it's such a big and important model. Have the Legio's race to see which one Hamish has to paint up. That will involve a lot of effort, me trying to filter out which legions have colour schemes. And full of Arak, if someone's willing to make me the .csv file with all the canon legios that have colour schemes, I'm more than happy to put it in. But I won't do that research right now. Yeah, next stream, Hamish, we can let the Chaos Gods try and decide for you. I think that could be a lot of fun, but yeah, something I would need to be prepped for. Right, so entering GN just because they aren't here right now, but I feel like they would want to race anyway. Who else wants to be entered in? Let's add Varric just for traditions. We do even want about paint schemes, so then how is he meant to make a colour scheme from it? So remember, whoever wins the races for the day does get that special tag on the Discord server. So there is some kind of incentive here. It's not a giveaway, but hey Adrian, want to enter a marble race? The cat will join the race to train agility. So yeah, Adrian, we're currently doing some marbles because why not? And talking about what Legio Hamish paint his Titan as. Well, it's because everyone wants to beat Valrak, so he gets a spot just so we can all have satisfaction of beating him, basically. Galio, I'm assuming you want to be entered in? I'm assuming that means you want him. Yeah, well, Galio, do you want to be entered or not? Come on. A pretty great stream to listen to during work. Well, I'm glad it is that. Um, so yeah, even if you're not necessarily paying too much attention, I'm glad you're still hanging around and enjoying it. Okay, well, I'm going to add in Jalio regardless, and we'll roll with the 10 names we have now. Oh, 9 names. Who should the last person be? Who disappeared earlier? Did we throw Byron in? Oh no, I've got a better idea. Oh, there's one person which we can't possibly. I was asking if you wanted to be entered into the marble race. Right, there we go. Let's add in the turtle. The turtle absolutely deserves to have a place here. Okay. I wonder, has anyone made any Warhammer themed? Oh, no one's made any Warhammer ones. That's a shame. The highest rated one. Rank. No. These sound really interesting. This adventurous adventure. Or friendly cannon fire. Okay, that one sounds interesting, so let's do that one. Yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was fantastic. So, right, let's see. Oh, Cypher is in... No! Oh god. Wait, no, we can't be having this. Come on, guys. Varrock is currently in the lead, followed by Cypher, then Zell, then Connor. No, Adron, you're making up places, so is the Turtle. God, Varrock's already so far ahead. Come on, Zell. Come on, Adron. And the Turtle, come on, you guys can save us. God, we are really close. He's gone straight through. Can't actually keep up, he's going so fast. On Adron, Zell, Connor. Really need to catch up. Oh, Zell. Well, okay, Zell's going really quick. Zell, you're so close to... And I'm out. Okay. Thanks, game. Turtle's out. Jalio's out. Adron has taken the lead, though. And Adron's fallen. Oh no. I think everyone's stuck in here. So it's Cypher and G. At the moment. No, Zell's... No, okay, Cypher is currently in the lead. Cypher has fallen. Okay, Hamish's cat has made it. Hamish's cat is currently in the lead. Being followed by Varrock. Connor has also made it. Zell has also survived. G is still stuck in the machine. Hamish make it through safe. Set for barrels. Hamish's cat wins. Followed by Varrock. And then... Oh, Connor did make it though. And then it's Zell. So it's only G left. Well done, Hamish's cat. All of that agility training did pay off. Okay, and with that, I think I'm going to call the end of the stream there. Thank you for an absolutely wonderful evening, guys. It's been really nice. I remember !Discord in chat to come over to a Discord server if you haven't already done so. And if you do want to support me doing these streams, then I do have a Ko-fi and a Patreon, which you can sign up for. You should be able to do !Ko-fi and !Patreon. Not sure if I typed them in correctly, but they should work. If not, the links are also on the Discord server. Yeah. How did the fat cat win? But yeah, thanks for a wonderful evening, guys. And I will catch you sometime this week. If not, it'll be Sunday. I'm gonna go play some Minecraft. Well, that's a very good idea, especially now the server's up. So, right, have a wonderful evening.